Okay, so good day po my fellow taong bayan, mga kasimor ko. At ngayon po, tuloy pa rin tayo sa Duterte versus HOR case na discussion because meron pong iilan na public servants, mga politiko na hindi po natuwa dun sa unanimous decision, sa unanimous final resolution po na nilabas ng Supreme Court. Okay, so isa po dun is si Senate President Tito Sotto. So in this post po, kung makikita ninyo ang sabi niya, they, Supreme Court justices, have a different agenda. It's not a different thinking. Iba ang tumbok nila, iba ang focus nila siguro, kaya ganun ang nangyayari. So if we read this statement po kasi, ang dating po kasi nito in the eyes of a reasonable observant ay mukhang may ini-imply siya na may bias yung Supreme Court. Yan po ang interpretation ko dito. So aside from this po kasi, meron din silang another angle na tinatawag nilang judicial overreach daw yung ginawa ng Supreme Court, or in simple terms, beyond the power na po ng Supreme Court yung ginawa na decision na yon. Okay? So ang gagawin ko na lang po ngayon para mas maintindihan nyo talaga yung structure ng government natin, unang-una explain ko po sa inyong lahat kung ano ba talaga yung functions ng bawat branch ng government natin, with emphasis po kung ano ba talaga yung trabaho ng Supreme Court in relation to the interpretation of the Constitution. Tapos i-discuss ko din po yung reason kung bakit naging ganun yung decision ng Supreme Court. And of course, sasagutin ko rin kung whether or not judicial overreach ba talaga yung ginawa ng Supreme Court. Okay, so yan po ang magiging discussion natin for today. So brief background lang po tayo sa facts. So yung nangyari po kasi, yung 2025 impeachment ni Vice President Sara Duterte, nagkaroon ng final decision na dun yung Supreme Court via a final resolution kung saan unanimous po sila ulit at sinabi nilang unconstitutional talaga yung ginawa ng House of Representatives kung paano po nila final at initiate yung impeachment, yung 2025 impeachment versus VP Sara Duterte. So if you want to know more about that, please watch this video na lang po. And then after po niyan, naglabas po ng statement si Senate President Tito Sotto, and I actually made a reply to his statement. So if you want to know more about it, pwede nyo po basahin lang din to sa Facebook page ko. As to the statement po ni Senate President Tito Sotto, yung main argument talaga nila is that the decision is a clear judicial legislation. The SC, as written in their decision, admitted of introducing a rule for Congress to follow in the conduct of impeachment, a clear encroachment on the power of the legislative branch as provided for by the Constitution. Ibig sabihin nito, nagka-judicial overreach daw yung Supreme Court, yung judiciary, kasi nag-step into sila sa power or function ngayon ng legislative branch. Okay, and then yung next po dyan, nagpo-push ngayon sila Senate President Tito Sotto na magkaroon ng charter change or amendment to the Constitution. Tapos one of the reasons na sinasabi po ni SP Sotto is because of this one, na they, the Supreme Court justices, have a different agenda. It's not a different thinking. Iba ang tumbok nila, iba ang focus nila, siguro kaya ganun ang nangyayari. In the eyes and ears of a reasonable observant, yung mga statements po nila Senate President Sotto and all the other public servants na hindi po pumabor dun sa decision ng Supreme Court ay parang gusto po nila magkaroon ng charter change because nag-abuse daw ng power yung judiciary. Okay, so yan lang po yung pinaka-facts natin. So to start the legal discussion po, i-discuss ko po muna sa inyo yung structure and functions ng government natin, the three branches of the government natin, para mas maintindihan nyo talaga kung ano ba yung trabaho ng executive, legislative, at ng judiciary. Okay? Okay, so we're back po in the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines, and yung relevant provisions po natin is number 1, Article 6, number 2, Article 7, and number 3, Article 8, the Judicial Department. So unang-una pa lang po, kung papansinin ninyo yung manner ng pag-set up nitong mga articles natin, ay makikita na ninyo yung wisdom behind sa setup po na ganito. Kasi of course, unang-una, bago magkaroon ng batas, kailangan mo na gumawa ng batas, 'di ba? At yung may power po para gumawa ng batas is the legislative department. Kaya una po yung legislative or yung Congress po sa executive and judiciary. Okay? And then yung next article po, Article 7, executive department naman. So I'm sure alam nyo naman po na yung nag-execute at nagpapatakbo ng mga batas natin is of course the executive department, which is headed by the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Okay? So yan po, una legislative gagawa, execute is the executive. And then pangatlo po is the Judicial Department, which is headed by the Supreme Court po natin. So since ito po yung tagagawa ng batas, yung Congress, taga-execute yung executive, yung trabaho po ng judiciary natin is reviewin kung tama ba yung paggawa ng batas or kung tama ba yung pag-execute ng batas. Okay? And one of the guidelines po na tinitingnan talaga ng Supreme Court natin is whether or not nasunod ba yung mga guidelines and provisions sa Constitution in relation to the lawmaking process and the implementation and execution of that law. Okay, so in simple terms, yung judiciary po yung may final say kung paano i-interpret yung Constitution and whether or not unconstitutional ba yung mga bagay-bagay. Hindi po legislative at hindi po executive yung may function na yon, because again, the legislative branch, ang trabaho po nila is to create laws, and then yung executive department naman po is to implement or execute the laws, and lastly, the judiciary po is to determine how to properly interpret the laws. Okay, so yan lang po ang summary ng structure ng government natin. Ngayon po, i-discuss ko naman sa inyo kung bakit there is an appearance of judicial overreach sa Supreme Court decision in relation to the Duterte case. Okay, so of course, we are still in the Duterte versus HOR case, GR number 278353. So yung una-una po talagang kailangan natin i-take note dito is the impeachment proceeding being sui generis, diba? Because even in the Francisco versus HOR case, yung 2003 case pa po, and in this case, the Duterte case, lagi pa rin po or in-emphasize pa rin po ng Supreme Court na yung impeachment is sui generis, meaning it is a class of its own, unique po siya or kakaiba po siya. And the reason being is because yung pinaka-purpose po niya is to achieve a political conviction. And when you say political conviction, para po matanggal lang sa office yung kinasuhan dun sa impeachment. Yan yung main purpose niya. However, as to the proceedings itself, it is somewhat similar to a judicial or legal proceeding. So kung doon pa lang po makikita natin na hybrid talaga siya, hybrid na legal, hybrid judicial, and hybrid na political. Okay? And that is one of the reasons po kaya sinasabi palagi na ang impeachment is sui generis. Okay? And then yung next po, kailangan natin i-take note dito is this provision here. Because sabi po ng Supreme Court ngayon, the application of the due process clause in the initiation stage of the impeachment process is sui generis. So pag-apply po ng right to due process ay kakaiba rin or unique din siya sa impeachment, 'di ba? So yan yung main reason kaya ngayon mukhang nagiging kakaiba itong decision ng Supreme Court, because yun nga po, the impeachment process is sui generis. Therefore, we should expect na kakaiba or unique or sui generis din po yung pag-apply ng mga provisions sa mga batas in relation to impeachment proceedings. And then the reason po kaya ganyan yung treatment sa impeachment na sui generis, unique, kakaiba po siya, is because of the seriousness of the matter that is being tackled sa impeachment proceedings, 'di ba? Because tatandaan po natin that is in relation to our right to accountability as the ordinary members of the taong bayan. And then yung layunin po niyan is para po matanggal from office yung mga high-ranking constitutional public servants po natin. So when we talk about high-ranking constitutional public servants po kasi, hindi yan sila dapat basta-basta tinatanggal because their function and their duties po are constitutionally mandated. So nagbabanggaan po talaga yung right to accountability versus the right of security of tenure ng impeachable officer. So therefore, yun nga po, hindi siya dapat natin i-treat as a regular case lang na kung ganito yung right to due process in ordinary cases, dapat ganito rin sa impeachment, because the impeachment is a very unique constitutional process considering po the subject matter and the objective of impeachment cases. Okay? So ngayon po, punta naman tayo dun sa pinaka-reason kung bakit talaga nagalit sila Senate President Tito Sotto. So ito po yung main reason kaya nasasabing nagka-judicial overreach. So basahin po muna natin. We are aware that for legislative purposes, a session day follows the interpretation of the House, which is not equivalent to a calendar day. It is a period that starts from a call to order until the session is adjourned, regardless of the passage of time. However, for the initiation stage of impeachment, which is a constitutional process, a session day is a calendar day in which the House of Representatives holds a session. This aligns with the primordial value of accountability of impeachable public officials, and therefore that impeachment proceedings should be accorded the weight and priority that it is due. Okay, so ang position po kasi dito nila Senate President Sotto, ang term daw na session days dun sa Constitution is a regular legislative session day. Whereas naman po yung Supreme Court, yung interpretation nila, since yung impeachment po is not a purely legislative purpose or function, but is a constitutional process, a unique constitutional process, therefore yung term po na session day sa provisions on accountability refers to a calendar day in which the House of Representatives holds a session. So in other words, for impeachment purposes, yung isang session po will automatically count as a one session day for impeachment purposes. Kasi kung tatandaan po natin, in regular legislative session days, ang isa pong day, pwede kasi yan ma-extend to 10 days or even 30 days kung gugustuhin ng House as long as hindi po sila mag-adjourn ng session. So this one po, I already explained this in my past videos at ako po personally, natutuwa talaga ako na sang-ayon yung Supreme Court dun sa ganun kong argument. 'Di ba? So anyway po, going back, ang main point dito ng Supreme Court is that yun nga po, the impeachment process not being a merely legislative process but a unique constitutional process, plus the seriousness, the gravity of the purpose of the proceedings, the impeachment proceedings. Therefore, hindi dapat maging ganun na regular legislative session day kasi pwede po yun madelay at abusuhin ng mga abusadong public officials. So that is in a way po ay protection na nilagay ng Supreme Court para hindi lang magkaroon talaga ng political persecution against mga kontrapartido. So yan po. And if you read actually the final note dito, in-emphasize din yan ng Supreme Court na the impeachment should not be used as a tool kung saan magkakaroon ng political persecution. Okay, and then we have to remember also one of the primary functions of the Supreme Court in Section 1 of Article 8 of the 1987 Constitution is they have the power to determine grave abuse of discretion. So if you apply it here po na regular legislative session day, ang bilang, pwedeng-pwede nga po yun maabuso according to the Supreme Court. And kung pwede po yan maabuso, therefore, that is within the power of judicial review to determine whether or not there was grave abuse of discretion. Okay? So, to make the long story short, kung ako po ang tatanungin ninyo, my professional assessment po is that there was no judicial overreach because number one, judiciary naman po yung may trabaho talaga, di ba, para mag-interpret ng Constitution. Therefore, kung ganun yung interpretation nila, plus the mere fact po na unanimous sila, walang kumontrang justice, mukhang yun talaga yung dapat na interpretation ng Supreme Court. Diba? And then number two, being that the argument na we should refer to a session day in impeachment proceeding as a regular legislative session day can easily be abused, di pasok din yun sa power of judicial review ng Supreme Court. And of course, lastly, the impeachment process itself being a constitutional process which is in a class of its own, sui generis, therefore, expected po talaga dapat natin na meron siyang kakaibang treatment from all other cases or from all other matters. Okay, so hopefully klaro po yan. Okay, so ngayon po, the next question naman natin, for discussion purposes, sabihin po nating may judicial overreach talaga yung Supreme Court. Ano naman ang remedy nating taong bayan against the erring members of the Supreme Court? At ang sagot po dyan is we are back in Article 11, Accountability of Public Officers. So medyo ironic po, di ba? Kasi yung sagot lang din po kung nang-abuso talaga yung Supreme Court Justices, nag-judicial overreach sila, is impeachment process din po. Because under Section 2 po dito, members of the Supreme Court may be removed from office on impeachment. So kung tingin po sana talaga nila Senate President Soto, all the other public officers na nagka-judicial overreach, meaning may violation of the Constitution na ginawa yung Supreme Court, edi kasuhan po nila yung Supreme Court ng impeachment. That is the proper remedy po na binigay ng Constitution sa atin. Hindi po remedy na magagawa tayo ng mga statements kung saan mag-instill tayo ng hatred or anger towards the judiciary para lang ngayon ma-convince na magkaroon talaga ng charter change. Hindi po yun. Ang primary remedy po talaga natin is to file for impeachment cases if we believe there was a culpable violation of the Constitution na ginawa yung justices natin. Okay, so as a final remark lang po, ang masasabi ko lang po talaga dito, sana po yung mga public servants natin, kung hindi po nila nakuha yung gusto nila or kung iba man yung naging decision ng korte from their political biases or political leanings, wag po sana tayo mag-instill ng anger and hatred towards that government office because if we are destabilized, edi tayo lang din po yung lugi dyan. The Filipino people lang po ang malulugi sa mga ganyang political actions. So iwasan po talaga sana natin yung mga ganyang statements and actions. And again, tandaan po natin, wala naman pong judicial overreach yung Supreme Court because that is their constitutional mandate to interpret the Constitution. Hindi po reason na hindi diniscuss sa Constitutional Convention or sa notes during the constitutional making process na hindi daw ganun yung interpretation ng session day because at the end of the day po, ang may mandato para mag-interpret ng Constitution is the Supreme Court. Hindi po yung mga authors ng Constitution or yung mga notes ng mga authors na yon. Yung may final say po talaga according to the Constitution ay Supreme Court lang. So in other words, kung ano po yung sabihin ng Supreme Court when it comes to constitutional interpretation, yun po ang will ng taong bayan, because being a constitutional mandate, a constitutional duty po nila, ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay ang taong bayan ang nagbigay ng trabaho na yan sa Supreme Court. 'Di ba? So wag po sana natin kontrahin yung will of the Filipino people. 'Di ba? So matuto po sana tayo sumunod sa mandato ng Constitution natin, because there is a reason kung bakit ganyan po yung pag-set up ng Constitution natin, and that is to maintain peace and order po sa bansa natin, 'di ba? Congress yung gagawa ng batas, executive yung mag-implement and execute ng batas, and then of course yung Supreme Court po yung final arbiter to determine kung whether or not nasunod ba yung Constitution when it comes to the lawmaking and the execution process. Kasi syempre po kung ibibigay ang lahat ng power na yan, yung creation, execution, and interpretation into one government office, that can easily be abused po talaga, at yan yung gustong iwasan natin. Again, the purpose of the structure natin is to maintain peace and order within our country. So ultimately po, ang pinaka-importante talaga natin tandaan is that if we follow the Constitution, we are not simply following a mere scrap of paper, kundi we are following the will of the people. And then tatandaan po natin na the spirit and essence naman po of public service ay dapat po sundin ninyo ang kagustuhan ng tao, because the will of the people is supreme and all government authority emanates from them. Okay, so yan po yung dapat talaga sana matandaan ng public servants natin. Ang will at kagustuhan ng tao ang dapat masunod, at hindi yung mga personal or political biases nila. Okay, so yan lang po ang masasabi ko as to this issue. Hopefully klaro po yun. If you like more legal videos and current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!